Hello people, welcome to my formulas and functions tutorial. In this tutorial, we are going to learn the most common formulas and functions in Microsoft Excel. We are going to start by looking at order of operation. In Microsoft Excel, your calculation is done according to this order. The first that Excel look at is parentheses. So Excel is going to take care of parentheses first, or brackets, and also after parentheses or brackets, it's going to look at where there is exponents or power, division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction, just like you have in mathematics. In mathematics, you have a board mass. Now, to illustrate this, I'm going to use this example right here. Now, to get the total of this number or the sum of this number, don't forget the first thing you have to enter if you are calculating in Microsoft Excel is equal to. Very important. Now, after pressing my equal to, I'm going to select my first cell that contains the number I want to add. I'm going to press plus button, and the second cell, press the plus button as well, and also the last cell, and hit the enter key. Now, hitting the enter key, I have my 32, which is my total. Now, the second thing I'm going to do is to find my average. Now, in finding average, I'm going to show you that Excel follows this order of operation. Now, if you want to calculate average here, the normal thing to do is to add up these three numbers and divide by 3. Now, let's enter our equal to. Don't forget that. Now, I'm going to select my first number, hit my plus, select second number, plus, and select the third number, and divide by 3. Divide by 3. Now, if you observe this formula very well, Excel is going to use K7 divided by 3 first. It's going to solve K7 divided by 3 before adding it up to K6 and K5, because that is the order that is here. So it's going to take care of division first before addition. So as you can see what we have here. So now if we do this calculation, and this is the total of the three numbers. If you take this 32 and then put your equal to, and you click on 32, divide by 3, you hit the enter key. This is supposed to be the correct answer, but Excel is giving us this because you have K7 here divided by 3. Now, to adjust this formula here, what you are going to do is to introduce a bracket. So you're going to put bracket right here. You're going to put this K5, K6, K7 in bracket. So Excel is going to see it differently now. So Excel is going to take care of what you have in bracket first. You're going to add up all the cells that you have in bracket before dividing it by 3, and that is the average. So I'm going to hit my enter key, and we now have our correct answer. So Excel follows this order in calculation. Is very important. Now, the next lesson we are going to look at is how to calculate basic maths in Microsoft Excel, basic mathematics formulas and functions. Now, if you want to, we are going to use these two numbers to do this calculation. Now, to calculate addition, like I said, equal to is the first thing. Then you select your first number, hit the plus button on your keyboard, select the second number, press the enter key. Subtraction, equal to, select the first number, minus on your keyboard, and the second number, hit the enter key. Now, this is not limited to just two numbers. You can do more numbers. So multiplication, you have equal to the first number, asterisk, the second number. Asterisk is the symbol for multiplication in computer applications. So I'm going to hit the enter key to get my answer. For division, you do the same thing. Equal to, select the first number, then divided by the second number, hit the enter key. Then raised to power, you do we're going to take we're going to type equal to, select our number, shift and 5 is going to give you power. It depends on the keyboard that you're using. Then I'm going to type 2, that is 10 raised to power 2. I'm supposed to have 100. It's going to give me 100. So if I'm to do 5, so I'm just going to have equal to here, and I have my 5 to power of 2 or 3. Hit the enter key and I have my answer. So this is how you calculate basic mathematics formula, basic mathematics function in Microsoft Excel: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and power. Now in the next lesson we are going to look at how you calculate sum, average, minimum, maximum, media, and mode. To calculate sum, we've actually done that. To calculate sum, all you need to do is then before this I want to explain the difference between formula and function. Formulas are what you create yourself as a user, as an Excel user. Formula is what you create. So example of a formula, I can decide to calculate the sum of this by saying equal to, then I create my formula by clicking on this first cell, put my plus, click on the second cell, put plus, and click on this third cell and hit my enter key. I just created a formula, and this is my formula that I created. Now, but we have what is called function. Function are predefined formulas that you have in Excel. Functions are predefined formulas that you have in Microsoft Excel, and examples of functions are sum, average, minimum, maximum, media, mode. Now we have, if you go to this function or insert function, you're going to see more functions in Microsoft Excel. If I click on all, we have more than 200 functions that you can use in Microsoft Excel. They are predefined, they are there for you to use. So they are inbuilt formulas. So functions are inbuilt formulas, while formulas are what you create yourself, but functions are inbuilt formula. Now let's use function to calculate the addition of these three cells. Now to use function, you still need to enter equal to, type the name of the function, and Excel is going to show you suggestion. Double click and just select the range of the value that you want to add and hit the enter key. You're going to have your answer. So you can use this mouse feature to drag and get the other answer. So that is how you use a function. Now let's calculate for average. If you are going to take average of these three numbers, so the first thing you enter is equal to, and also you type average. Average, once it appears, double click on it, select your range, hit the enter key, and you have your average. Then you fill undo to supply the rest of your answer. Now let's look at minimum of these three numbers. So you type equal to min, that's a function, open a bracket, select your range and close your bracket and hit the enter key. So the minimum number here is 10. Now for maximum you do the same thing, equal to, you have max, you can double click, so you select your range and hit the enter key, you have 15. To calculate your media, equal to, you type media, so double click once see it and select your range, hit the enter key and you have your media. Now you can see the media is a middle value in a list ordered from smallest to largest. So if you rearrange this from smallest to largest, you're going to see that the media is actually 12. It's even well arranged. Alright, so now let's do the mode. The mode is the most frequently occurring value on the list. Okay, I'm going to change this to 10 to calculate our mode. Now we're going to just put equal to, then you type mode, and this is it right here. Double click, select the range that you want to use, and hit the enter key, and you have your answer. Right, so we have, this is how you calculate these functions. This is how you use this function in Microsoft Excel. Then the next thing I want us to look at is concatenation. Concatenation. You can use concatenation to combine two cells in Microsoft Excel. Now this is Kunle and this is Tobiloba. This is first name and this is last name. So we're going to use the concatenation to combine these two names. So the first thing, equal to, don't forget that, and we're going to type the function. I'm going to use concat. Concatenation, as you can see this yellow sign here, it means that this function can disappear at any time. So the next function that will replace concatenate is concat. So I'm going to double click on this, select my first cell, put comma, and select my second cell, close the brackets and hit the enter key. Now as you can see in between these, there's no space in between Kunle Tobiloba. So I'm going to double click to adjust my formula. Now after my C6, I'm going to create space. So I'm going to use this to create space, and I put comma, hit my enter key, and you're going to see space here. So I can use my fill undo, because it's a function. I can use my fill undo to fill in the rest. So relatively, it's going to supply the rest of my answer. Okay. The next is conditional. Conditional. We have conditionals. So we're going to look at sum if, count if, and if statement. Now let's look at sum if function. Sum if function. Now the first thing you do is to enter equal to, then you type your function, which is sum if, and just double click on the function, and then you select. You can see there are suggestions here for you. You have, the first one is range, you have criteria, then you have the sum range. Okay, so I'm going to select my range. So I'm going to select range of products. After selecting range, you apply comma, then the next is criteria. Now I'm going to select this box as my criteria. So if I type any product here, it's going to give me the sum of the product. Example, if I type semo here, it's going to add up this semo and this semo for me and give me the total. So that's the criteria. I'm just going to select this box because this is where I'll be typing my criteria for the summation. So I'm going to apply comma here. The next is sum range. So I'm going to take the sum range and close my brackets and hit the enter key. It's showing 0 because I've not typed any product yet. So I'm going to type semo, for example, and hit the enter key. It's going to give me 500. If you look at semo here, it's 300 plus 200, that's 500. I'm going to type Gary here, type Gary, hit the enter key. It's going to give me 850. So you have this Gary here, 300 plus 400, 700 plus another Gary, 150, that's 850. So this is correct. Now we're going to do count if. Count if is similar to sum if. As you know, you can use your count to count the number of numbers that you have within a table or within a list. So now I'm going to use my equal to, then type my count if. Then you can double click on the function. Then you have your suggestion here. So the first thing you do is to select your range. I'm going to select range of products, and the second is the criteria. I'm going to select this box as my criteria. So I'm going to close my bracket. Now this one doesn't require you to select the sum range. I need my enter key. You've entered too few arguments for this function. Okay. Oh, okay. I'm going to do that again. So now the first is to select my range, which is this, and apply comma. This comma is very important. Then select my criteria here and hit the enter key. So if I put semo, for example, and I hit the enter key, it's going to show me 2. So semo appeared twice here. So if I type Gary, don't forget the function is count if. You want to count the number of times a product appears. So I'm going to do Gary and click on enter, and you have 3. So you have Gary here, 1, 2, and 3. So if I enter sugar, and hit the enter key, you're going to see 1. So that is how to use conditional under formulas and functions. Now the next one I want us to look at is count. So like I said in the previous lesson, you use count to count the number of numbers that you have within your table or list. Now count will help you to count numbers alone, while counter will count both numbers and text. Count blank will only count blank spaces. So if you want to use this function, type equal to, then type count. As you can see it, double click and select the values. If I select all of these values here, just let's see what's going to happen. I will close my bracket and hit the enter key. It's going to give me 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's not going to count this, because you use count to count only numbers. Now the next one, which is counter, might be asking, where am I going to use? So you can use count to count if you are working with a large file. Now counter, enter equal to, do the function counter, and you can double click, or you just type everything yourself, and you're going to select. I'm going to select all of this and close the bracket and hit the enter key. As you can see, 18. So counter counts everything, both text and number. Now count blank, I'm going to select these 2 blank space, and you're going to see we're going to have 2. So we have equal to, and we have count blank as a function. So I'm going to select, double click it here, and select the whole of this, and select these 2 blank cells, close my bracket and hit the enter key, and it's going to give me 2 because we have 2 blank cells. Alright, the next one I want us to look at is the VLOOKUP and data validation. So you can use VLOOKUP function to look up a certain column within your list or your table. So I want to look up email, phone number, and salary of John. So to do that, I want to look up John's information from this table. So if you are working with a very large file or a very large table, you can use VLOOKUP to extract content of a particular salesperson or a particular product. So I'm going to extract John's email using VLOOKUP. Enter my equal to, I have VLOOKUP. You can see, so I'm going to double click. Now the first is lookup value. So I want to look up John. So that's my first. I'm going to put comma. Then the next is table array. So everything right here is my table array. I'm going to select everything. I'm going to select the whole of the table. Then the next, we're going to put comma, don't forget, is column index number. So the column of the column I'm looking up is, you have name is 1, email is 2, phone number is 3, salary is 4. So email is 2. So I'm going to put 2 because it's email that I'm looking up. So I'm going to put 2 here and apply comma. And the last thing is range lookup. I'm going to put false there, and I'm going to close my bracket and hit the enter key. Now you see John is JJ as gmail.com, as you can see. So the beauty of using a lookup function is if you type in any other name, it's going to bring it out. So if I type Bolu, for example, it's going to bring out Bolu's email. If I type Musa, it's going to bring out Musa's email. So that's the beauty of using lookup. So once you are done with one, you can actually use it to retrieve other people's information or other products information. So I'm going to look up phone number as well, enter equal to, and VLOOKUP. You can double click or you type yourself. Then the first is lookup value. I'm going to select, then put comma, then table array, select the whole of the table, then index number, column index number, that is phone number, that's 3, 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to put 3 here, and comma, false again, then close my brackets and hit the enter key. So Musa phone number, now you see this is it. So if you type John, you're going to have John details. John phone number is right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see it. So now lastly, let's do for salary. So for salary, you do the same thing. So you have equal to VLOOKUP, double click, and then you have your lookup value, comma, you have a table array, select everything, and comma again, and then you have your column index number 1, 2, 3, 4. Put 4 here, and then lastly you put false, and you close the brackets, hit the enter key, and you have this. Now we're going to look at data validation. Instead of typing John, you want to type Bolu, you want to type Emeka, you can actually have a list here that will allow you to just click on their name and the information will pop up. So that is what we want to do now. So to do that, you go to your data, and you look for data validation. This is it. Click on it. Then under settings, you have any value? No. Go to list and select your list. Source, this is source. So then you're going to select all of these names. Click on this arrow again and click OK. So as you can see here, you now have a drop down list of names instead of you typing the name, you know. So you can click on Bolu, you have Bolu's information. Emeka, you have Emeka's information. Musa, you have Musa's information. Alimat, you have Alimat's information. So you are working with a large table or a large file. You know, VLOOKUP will help you to extract information, you know, faster. So the next is relative and absolute value. So we have relative and absolute value. Now, relative value is how Excel calculates cell by cell, duplicating your previous formula. So let's calculate total here, the total of these numbers. I'm going to type equal to, and okay, let me just use this. Another way you can calculate sum in Excel is by using auto sum. If you go to formula, you're going to see auto sum here. So once you click on auto sum, it's going to capture all of the numbers you want to sum up, hit the enter key, and you have your total. Or you can do it normally, then use the fill undo to fill in the rest of your answer. So this is what is referred to as relative value in Excel. You can see that the first formula here is E6 to H6, and if I hit my enter key and I move to the second, you're going to see that it's picking the cell E7. It's picking the cell name to calculate, you know, the sum or the addition. So you can see this is E7 to H7. So it's going to continue picking the next, you know, cell name to calculate. If I do this, you can see this is E9. It's just going to pick it like that. So that is relative. That's what is referred to as relative calculation or relative value in Microsoft Excel. That when you apply a formula here, and you can just use the fill undo to get the rest of your answer, because the Excel has been programmed by default to use the next cell to calculate, for to use the next cell address to calculate for the particular function you are trying to duplicate here. I don't know if that's clear enough. But when we talk about absolute value, okay, let's do this so that I can be able to explain better. Now you have your equal to, and we want to give 10% commission. So I'm going to select my total and multiply by this commission here and hit my enter key. Now because I'm multiplying this total by this commission rate here, now the Excel will be confused, because if Excel want to get this line now, it's going to pick this particular this next line to calculate for my next line here. So let's check, and it's going to give me a wrong answer, as you can see. So if you double click on here to review the formula, so you have H4, which is this. There's nothing here. So but we want Excel to use this 10% to calculate for every other cell. So that is absolute value. So how can you make that happen? How can you make Excel to use this H3 as a fixed address or as a fixed cell name to calculate for the rest of these values? So what you're going to do is let me review my formula by double clicking. You are going to put a dollar sign in front of H, and in front of 3. So once you put a dollar sign in front of H and 3, so this H3 has become absolute value. So it is now fixed. So it will not be Excel will now take this H3 to multiply the rest of the total in order for you to have your answer. So I'm going to hit my enter key. I'm going to have that. So if I use my fill undo to duplicate, you see that the answers are now correct, because introducing this has made it an absolute value. So that is relative and absolute value. So the next thing I want us to look at is three-dimensional functions. So three-dimensional functions, you want to calculate the total of different sheets. So you want to use function to calculate to combine different sheets. So this is my sum. This is my summary sheet. So I want to calculate I want to add up this and this and this on this. So that is why we call it three-dimensional formula. So I want to find the total of quarter 1 right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put equal to. I'm going to put my equal to and put my sum function, open my bracket, and come right here and select the first cell. I'm going to click on shift. I'm going to hold down my shift button. Shift key, and use the shift key to select all of the sheets that you want to work on. So, and you have your answer. Hit the enter key to have your answer. So I'm going to do it for this cell again so that you understand. This is three-dimensional function. Letter equal to, type your function and double click, and you go to the first cell that you want to add up, select, then hold on your shift key, select all the sheets, hit the enter key, and you have your answer. So I'm going to use a fill undo to supply the rest of the answer. So this is how you get your summary sheets. So that's what is referred to as three-dimensional function, three-dimensional calculation in Microsoft Excel. And that will be all for this tutorial on Microsoft Office, Microsoft Excel formulas and functions. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel, like and comment. See you in the next tutorial.